Well, hello, happy 2025. I know it's been a while since I did a video. I actually filmed a video yesterday, but you're going to see this one first. So, I mean, when you've got a pit bike, the engines aren't the most reliable thing in the world. And I've had previous videos on my channel, taken a bit and shown little modifications you can do and whatnot. Anyway, the time has come to take the 190 engine out and put a 140 engine back in. Now, it's not quite a straightforward swap because the electrics are slightly different. Obviously, the carb's different, whatnot, but the exhaust is the same. So, what I'm going to do is do a little video. How long does it take to swap the engines? Now, I'm not going to try and do it in world record time. I have no doubt that if you were just swapping, say, a 140 for a 140, you could probably do it in about 20 minutes. But anyway, have a guess in the comments now on how long you think it's going to take to put that in there. Now, this 140 engine has just been refreshed. It's got a brand new head and cylinder on. I managed to pick these up off Faith Spook Marketplace for I think 70 quid, including a piston. Now, the old piston, which I don't know whether I've got it. Okay, so apparently I binned the piston, but I mean, this 140 engine, I couldn't tell you how many hours it has on. Many hundreds, I would imagine, and they've all been racing and rallying. Anyway, what happened is the big end went on the crank, the piston hit the cylinder head, and just there was a fair bit of debris in the engine, and all I did was swap the crank at a race meeting to get me back out, but I mean, really, it needed looking at. Then I ended up going on the 190 engine, so kind of neglected this. But the 190 engine needs a better gearbox, really. It's a bit unreliable, so I put this in for the meanwhile, and then maybe or maybe not I'll upgrade the 190 engine. Now, when I took this apart, I also found that there's a crack in the case, so around here. I bought a picture in the video now and you'll be able to see. So good job I actually took it apart. Well, if you can see the crack there a little bit better, maybe? I don't know, anyway, I'll put a picture in. So it's got a new crankcase as well. There's not much of the electrics. Let me put this in. It's really important if you're using the adjustable stator, by the way, to AVM mount this CDI. Otherwise, it'll last about 15 seconds. As you can see, I've got the bike on axle stands. Usually you use a stand under the sump, but there's a couple of bolts under there for the engine, so they're no good. What I'm going to do is start by taking the seat off and removing the electrics. I'll disconnect the fuel line and the throttle cable. Then I'll probably come underneath, take this off, exhaust, whatnot. But I'll do a little bit of a voiceover through the video because trying to find non-copyrighted music that you don't have to pay for is proving increasingly difficult. So let's just crack on. I started off by removing the seat, which is just one bolt underneath. I then started removing the electrics. As I kind of already showed, there's not too much to it, but definitely make sure that you always AVM mount your CDI. I'll show you a little bit how I do this with a rubber hose later. I did find this a little bit more difficult than normal as my flush cut pliers are on the way to Spain with the Fireblade, so I had to make do with what I had available. So here I am just removing this really expansive wiring loom. And here you can see how I use just a little bit of rubber hose and some cable ties to isolate the CDI from the vibrations of the bike. Removing the exhaust is as easy as it looks. Two 10mm nuts where the header pipe joins on the cylinder head, and then a couple of springs that hold the sort of downpipe or exhaust pipe into the silencer. Next, I remove the kickstart, just 130mm spanner required for this. Now I'm removing the catch tank or catch tray, which kind of doubles up as a stand to rest the bike on. There's a regulation when you're racing these that it must be able to hold, I think, 1.5 times the capacity of the oil system. So if you say it takes about 800ml with an oil cooler, 900ml, you need to be able to hold roughly 1.5 litres. Lots of rubber in there. Also, it's not looking its best. It's got a big crack. This is the catch tray. It's got a big crack along there. And the bolt holes are looking slightly worse for wear. Anyway, onwards. So here I am removing the oil cooler. Typically, I don't run an oil cooler on the 140. However, given the state of my engine previously, I think having an oil cooler and therefore running the oil at a slightly cool temperature will help it last and protect the engine. At least that's what I'm hoping. I need to speak as quick as possible because the video's going too fast now. So here I am removing the changes in split link. Oh no, spark plug. The key. There we go. One engine out. Easy as that. And just like that, through the magic of video editing, we're only about the 7-minute mark and the engine's already removed. If only you could pick 600,000 engines up this easily. Right, time check. It was 23 minutes to remove. I'll give it a quick wipe up, so we're not going to include that in the time, and then we'll put the new one in. Say new, it's actually older, but you know what I mean. Right, we're back. I've given that a little bit of a clean, and the catch tank, catch tray, a little bit of a clean. It's gone back on for now, it doesn't matter whether it's cracked. Well, it does matter, but I'm not doing anything about it right now. So, need to take the side cover off this. I'll tell you what, we'll lift the engine in, then we'll take the side cover off. No, we can't. No, side cover first. The 140 engine is significantly lighter than the 190 engine is. Not that either of them are particularly heavy, but this one's definitely less heavy. Feed that through there, look, somewhere. There we go. One engine bolt. So there's the top bolt in. Does that go from this side? Here I'm just trying to get the other main engine bolt in by giving the engine a little bit of a wiggle. It's definitely better bolting from the same side. And when you get these spaces in the bottom as well, whilst the engine's obviously loose and can move around. So there's 4 bolts underneath, 2 go through the frame into the engine. The other 2 also go through the frame and into the engine, but between the bolt and the frame they also hold the oil catch tray. Remember to always use your hand as a hammer. Wow, I bend that a lot for the 190 engine. The 190 engine is much wider at the point where the tray mounts on the front, so I just had a bit of gentle persuasion so I could get the bolt in. Clutch cable, put that on. I seriously need a new GoPro because this one is shit. Look at the state of it, and it turns off all the time. Right, we just so happen to be 23 minutes in again, so I'm going to pause it now. This is the kill switch wires. Doesn't matter which way around you have them. I will tidy these wires up at a later date. And we've got the connections to the stator. That one there. I'm going to assume pink to pink and green to green. It's a while since I've looked at this harness, so I can't quite remember how it goes. Right, now we obviously need a bit of fuel line to go from there to there. So the exhaust mounts up exactly the same way on the 140 as it does the 190. Only problem being is this new cylinder head didn't actually have any studs in. So for the purpose of just getting it together, I put some bolts in, but I did go back and replace them for studs. So I had to adjust the chain tension slightly, although I did manage to get the chain on. Changing the engine and the output shafts being in slightly different positions meant the chain was really tight. The reality is I'm going to have to change the gearing for the 140 engine because it doesn't have as much power, so therefore the gearing needs to be lower. What are we saying? How many kicks? That's what it should do. Right. Chalk on. Oh, that feels stiff. Let's go for it. How many kicks? That is number 1. Ooh. Number 2. Number 3. 4. Let's turn the chalk off. How long is that? That's 16 minutes on top of 46 minutes. So 16. Wow, why am I bad at it? So that'll be 56 plus another 6. 1 hour and 2 minutes. So if that's what you guessed, then you're correct. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.